I want you to take a look at this map. For now, just keep it in your mind. We're going to be talking about this map in the very near future. We've been told by the gaming industry as well as the gaming press that inflation has simply made it impossible for the games industry to continue to charge only $60 for video games. Take articles like this from gamesindustry.biz. This is in 2020, making an argument for the $70 increase that has to happen, even if consumers aren't incredibly happy with it.
Nice job, team.
Now, on the surface, I will forgive you if you actually just believe it. The point is, everything in life has gotten more expensive.
Woo! Yeah!
Especially when we look, for example, at video game budgets themselves. Back in 2007, and I just randomly chose 2007 as the date. I don't know how random it was because it was a year of great games being released, but 2007 was the date that I settled on. And back in 2007, the average price for a game being made was between 20 and 50 million US dollars, with the average sort of falling anywhere between 35 and 40 million in general. Today, that number is about 300 to 350 million, providing us with a 6x increase, or if we're going by the 40 million mark, about a 7.5x increase over the numbers in 2007, proving, of course, that they simply cannot keep charging $60 for a game because games are 7.5 times more expensive now than what they were back in 2007. Case closed. Thank you so much for watching the video. Except that's not really where the story ends, because the gaming industry is not static. Gaming budgets is not the only thing that has increased over the course of the last decade and a half. For that, we have to go a little bit deeper. So back in 2007, the global number of gamers estimated at that point, because remember, the internet was still fairly new, but estimated was around 217 million users worldwide. I understand that this is highly speculative. The point is that even the most liberal suggestions don't come anywhere close to even a billion gamers. And the sales of games at the time really doesn't support there being anywhere more than, I think, 400 million at the upper end of it. Contrast that to how many gamers we have today, and we get to 332 billion active video gamers playing games today. That is a massive increase of 15.3x, way bigger than the budget increase that we've had since 2007 and now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
But that's not the full story. We also have to look at the value of the gaming industry 2007 compared to today. In 2007, the gaming industry was valued at 44.9 billion US dollars. That's a whopping number. Holy crap. Except it pales in comparison to the $522.46 billion it is worth today. That, my dear friends, is an 11x in terms of increases, which is wild. In other words, the gaming industry, while yes, games have gotten a hell of a lot more expensive to make, about 6 or 7 times more expensive, the gaming industry in terms of number of players have grown by about 15 times, and the annual value of the gaming industry has grown by about 11.6 times. So clearly, there's been massive growth in both of those. But even if we go and look at actual game sales, for this, I asked Grok, what was the average successful number of copies sold for games in 2007? And based on all available data at the time, a game would have to sell between 1 and 2 million copies in 2007 to be considered massively successful. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, releasing in 2007, for example, sold over 7 million copies by 2008. Halo sold about 4.82 million copies. This was incredible for the time.
I'm kind of a big deal.
But between 1 and 2 million would cover all of your bases. Compare that to what we have today. The Witcher 3 sales currently sit at around 60 million copies. That is a significant increase over the measly 7 million copies sold by Call of Duty 4. You can look at Palworld. Palworld sold over 32 million copies within its first year of release, clearly signaling that things are insane in the gaming industry now. Or look at Stellar Blade, released just last week and already sitting at 3 million copies sold. The point is that these days, if your game cannot sell at least 3 million copies in the first week, we would consider that game a relative failure. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, the only inflation within the gaming industry is an inflation in stupidity and bad management.
Hey, Queen. Girl, you have done it again.
Not an inflation of video game prices, because those are handily offset by the enormous growth of the gaming industry overall, the amount of money that is made within the gaming industry, and the number of copies sold. Not to mention the fact that these days games are no longer just their box price. Almost every game has paid DLC.
Woo! Yeah!
Comes with a cash shop. The argument that they have to charge more in order to make back their money simply isn't true. The inflation or the increase in pricing is an increase in taxation on stupidity. The games industry rely on the gullibility of the player base as well as their mouthpieces in the media to perpetuate this lie, and they hope that we do not ask too many questions. This is especially egregious when you look at things like this, where EA posts record profits, Activision posting record profits, Microsoft posting record profits, Sony posting record profits, and yet we're consistently told that they just can't make money at the $60 price point. Now, remember that map that I showed you in the beginning of the video? That is a map from 2013 showing Steam downloads at the time. This is the map for today. It's a lot busier. So the argument that we simply have to increase prices to offset the inflation is wrong. It's fake. It's nonsense. Don't believe the game studios, don't believe the publishers, and certainly don't buy into the games media that serve as their mouthpieces. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about all of this. Do you agree, disagree? Hit the like if you do, dislike if you don't, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace.